official office hours, right? So, if there are not too many, I might ask her to bring them to the classroom, but she's not gonna lug around a whole bunch of homeworks and quizzes, right? So you might have to arrange with her to pick them up, okay? I'll continue to bring the sign-in sheet, I guess, the signature sheet, if you haven't had a chance to sign it. It's gone around a couple of times, so. And I don't know if you have seen on Sakai, I have created a few new folders. So exams and quizzes. There are some old exams, 13, 14, and 15. Solutions for 13 and 14. There are no solutions to 15 because I will go over that exam on Tuesday. It's coming Tuesday. And then I have solutions to quiz 1 and quiz 2. Quiz 3 will be coming. I haven't gotten to uploading that one yet. Yes?
Is homework 4 not going to be included on the test? The one where it's like you have a bunch of times?
So homework 4 was for that reason. It was longer problems, so that it's the material is still included, but you will not get a table of times, right? To evaluate an exposure. You've done that. I've tested you on that, so that will not be on the actual exam. You might get a shorter version of an evaporation problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that leak problem was with a mixture was pretty intensive. So if I would put something on that, it would probably be a shorter version of it, right? The material is still included.
How many questions are on the exam?
So it's usually between 2 or 3. So it depends on the length of them. If there are 2, they're usually A, B, and C or something like that, right? So what I try to do, instead of having like 4 or 5 questions, different things on the exam, I try to select 2 or 3, but with A, B, and C, so that, right, you don't have to it's the same problem, just different parts of it, so you don't have a whole new problem set, right, to start over on. I feel that's easier. I'm not sure.
How long should the exam take?
Well, it's a 2-hour exam, right? So most students takes the 2 hours. It depends. It depends. You know, sometimes I had a student leave after an hour last semester, so at least an hour. Yes, and right, it's an open book exam, right? So you're not gonna have a whole lot of extra time, right? Don't underestimate things and think that you have the time to look for solutions in the book. That is usually the culprit of having open book exams, right? They're designed so that you cannot not study and come to the exam and think you can find everything, all the information you need, right? And that's why I also tell students that you can put little Post-it notes, not like big Post-it notes, but small ones to label equations, you know, commonly used equations and things like that, so that you can easier find them in the book. That is fine. Just don't put any solutions in the book. Okay. What else did I do? So I have put another folder here with problem solutions. So there are some suggested problems. Maybe I should put that, maybe we should take that first. Okay, so what I have uploaded here are chapter 1, 2 through 4 problems. So for those of you who have the international edition, you can find what actual problems I'm referring to, and that is in the suggested problems exam 1. Okay, it will give you, it opens. So basically I summarized all the problems that we have worked in class. So IC is in class by the TA or by me. These are homework problems. These SP is suggested problems. Okay, so those have, so some of the longer ones here in chapter 4 and 3 have actually solutions in the suggested problems folder on Canvas. Okay, so this is just to help you quickly look what you should be able to find solutions to, right, in your notes or homework. They will obviously, you have solutions to those already on Canvas in your homework folder. So that's that one. Let me see. You know what? I forgot to. There are some of the earlier ones. I forgot to put that. There is another. There will be an answers file as well to suggested problems. So some of the easier problems just have answers, but if they're longer, then you have the problem solutions, and these are written out so that you can find them. And then I uploaded this one, which is the materials covered. Okay, so this is basically day by day what we have covered in class, so that you can see what, if you notice, there are some chapters or some sections, sub-chapters I should say, there that we haven't covered that will therefore not be on the exam. Right? I think most of the first few chapters are covered in some detail, right? But you will know from the classes and from the slides, right, what we have covered. Okay, so and it has, this also has the whatever problems we covered in class and what day, so that you can easier find where they are. Okay, I put the review on here today. I haven't decided what problems to work on Tuesday, but if you have anything over the weekend, if you work on this, just let me know if there's a specific problem that you would want me to cover. Otherwise, I will pick what I think is relevant problems also. And I think that what I'm doing, I'm going to review exam 1. That might take the first full hour, and the second hour, I will work whatever problems you would like for me to work, or we could treat it as office hours. So I hope you all got a notification that I couldn't be in office hours today because of my sick kids. And I had totally forgotten last week that on Tuesday I had a faculty meeting at 11, so I don't know if anyone came by my office for office hours on Tuesday. I apologize for that. If you do want to see me, if you have, right, I have some time after class today, and just send me an email if I apologize if you come by my office and I haven't been there. It's a little unusual. We have a lot of things going on because we have faculty candidates visiting, so it's been a little packed, and I forgot about that. When I last week said that office hours was moved to Tuesday. So I don't know if anyone came by, but if you do, right, if you want to see me before, obviously I'll be available before the exam on Thursday, but that might be a little late. I'll try to answer anything via email first, right? But if you want to see me, just let me know. Shoot me an email if there's anything that's unclear. Okay, so all this, I think that's it. What did I do? The lecturer's homework, you already have that. I will upload solutions to homework 4. I did not get to that yet, but that will be up there. Homework 1 is our to watch the video, so I'm not gonna do anything. No, there won't be solutions to that one. You watch that video. I think you all have. If you have not, there's still a chance to do that and turn that in for at least partial credit. There were some questions today if homeworks and quizzes are counted the same, and the answer is yes. And so is the attendance on the unit ops lecture where I actually took attendance. So all those count equally towards the homework quiz grade. Okay, so you can drop either your, I wouldn't drop the attendance, right? I don't think anyone needs to do that. But you can drop a quiz or a homework if that's what you decide to do at the end. So you have one drop we will have one combined makeup at the end too. So, because I don't have any quiz makeups during this semester.
So you could replace like a low quiz grade?
So you
to
can
make it?
replace a low quiz grade, yes.
Okay, what if you do worse?
Sit down. What if?
What if you take it and you do worse?
Then I just discard the worst one.
Okay.
So, any questions on that? Or abilities? I was just gonna do, I figure I'll go over what we have covered in class so far. Regular, I don't think anyone has missed it where our exam is next week, a week from today. We do have the room in the community core, and because my kids have been sick, I haven't been able to go and check what the size room is. So please, be on the lookout for a Canvas message. Okay, there will be a Canvas message telling you whether we all go to that classroom or if we have to divide and half of us come here and half of us come there. It will be alphabetically if that's the case, okay? So be on the lookout for Canvas on that. So we have covered chapter 1 through 4, well not all of chapter 4, but let's see what we have covered. Right, we in chapter 1, perhaps the most important for the exam is the accident and loss statistics. That's what we can actually do calculations on. Right, you should know OSHA incident rate, fatal accident rate, and what the difference is between that and a fatality rate. Right, we have talked of major causes of accidents. And you should know what is susceptible equipment, for example. This will be. It is not uploaded yet, but it will be after. So there, you don't unless you want to make notes of what I tell in addition to the slides. These will all be up there. So obviously you have that in the book, right? So you can find it. We talked about inherently safer processes, what you would have to do to make a process inherently safer. I mean, obviously that's the best way to do something, right? To deal with this. It may not be an option, but you should minimize storage. You can substitute for less reactive chemicals if you have a reactive hazard, but you have to be aware of if you substitute for something less reactive, then you're probably not going to be able to moderate your system, which is you're going to have to instead increase the temperature and pressure, because that's otherwise the other one, you can reduce pressure and temperature to make it less hazardous. And then of course simplify, right? A less complex system is easier. You want to make sure tubing and piping is labeled correctly and is intuitive, so you don't, so you don't have mistakes. I have a feeling that, but I don't know. They were flushing out the hood at 2:30. They were washing it out. They were taking it out of commission in our department from the roof. Somehow my hood in 320 also got flushed out, which we didn't know. We had torrential rain in our hood, which could have been really bad. We didn't have any water reactive chemicals or no electrical equipment on in there. But it could have been bad. And we don't know, I don't know for a fact whether the workers did 320 instead of 230 or if they're actually connected, which they shouldn't be. But you'd be surprised how many times you have workers that actually makes mistakes like that, right? You load reactant 1-2 instead of 2-1, and so if you simplify, that's one way to simplify things. Not don't use codes that could be ambiguous, right? And then you should be aware of what the AICHE Code of Professional Ethics is. Obviously, that's also in the book. That's not something you have to memorize. In chapter 2, we talked about entry points, control methods. We've talked about those response curves, and so you should know what LC, LD, TD, lethal concentration, lethal dose, and toxic dose, and what the 50 stands for. So it could be 10 or 90 also, right? So those are 50% right? Where 50% of the population it's tested on is affected. On this, most of the calculations, right, something you need to be very familiar with is how to use probits and how to use threshold limit values and how to evaluate exposures. I also do want you to know what the NFPA diamond stands for. That is something that you will have to memorize, right? And the HSC pictograms, right? Those were, you have more information on these on the unit operations slides, okay? Because this is something that's really important so that you can just look at that diamond or the picture and know what it is, right? I have time and time again stressed awareness is key in all of this. So chapter 3, the most important parts that we have gone through is evaluating exposures, right, for single components and mixtures. He, of course, is identification of hazards, and then ventilation calculations and estimating exposures to evaporation and filling. In chapter 4, we've covered flow of liquid through a hole. We've added the complexity of the hole in a tank, which, right, the first equation is not really one that you need. Because if you have flow of liquid through a hole, HL is, right, you take the tank equation and you said HL equals 0 and it simplifies to the right? Then when we have flow of liquid through a pipe or through a pipe that's connected to a tank, you have to use the energy balance. And I noticed I put it equal to 0. There should be a shaft work term in there that I didn't.
Is the shaft work term, is there a negative sign or positive?
You know, I just was looking at some problems on that yesterday, and there isn't I'm pretty sure that the book has a positive sign, and it's and it's on the wrong side for a positive sign. So I don't agree. I don't agree with it. In other words, they define shaft work different from Sandler, if you use Sandler in your thermal book, and I don't agree with that. It's a lot easier to remember. If you add energy to the system, it's positive. If it comes out, it's negative. But if you have other books in thermo, they sometimes define work as negative if it's positive, right? Work coming out of a turbine is something good, so therefore it's positive. And you have to remember what sign you have. So we haven't done any pump work. I think I will select a problem to work on Tuesday on that. But since we haven't covered it and it's confusing in the book, I don't think I will add that on the exam. Okay, but it's still important for you to know how to handle it. But I would not handle it the way the book has. I would put the work term or the heat term, right, on the left side, and then all you need to remember is if you're putting energy in or taking energy out, right? Energy out is negative, energy in is positive. Okay, so we'll look at that and see how to handle it. So maybe it's fine that I do this and we'll handle pump work or shaft work differently. So, and the last thing we covered was flashing liquids. Now just that is actually after, that's chapter 4-7. So the first 3 here are chapters 4.1 to 4-4. We skip flow of gases, okay, because that's a lot more complex. We're gonna cover that after the exam. But flashing liquids is after that, so just don't forget that. Any questions on any of that? Okay, so the other thing that's included is the